Good to see you all. Okay. Oh, windy morning out there. I can't believe the wind is so bad this early in the day. And that usually doesn't happen. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started for today then. So today we're going to, over the next 3 sessions, we're going to do the death awareness meditation. You might not think this is the best way to start your day, but it actually is the best way to start your day. So anyway, we'll do a few minutes of quiet meditation as usual, working with the breath, and then I'll come in, lead you in setting motivation, and then we'll do the first part of this death awareness meditation. So again, work with the breath in whatever way suits your mind. No doubt you have a technique you already use. Just try to keep your mind with the breath. Whenever you see that the mind wanders, guide the mind gently back to the breath. Okay, I'll begin meditation now then. So now let's set our motivation for doing meditation today. And recall that we have right now this perfect human rebirth, this incredible opportunity to use our lives meaningfully. And we're going to do this meditation on death awareness so that we can be sure that we take advantage of this life we possess. And of course, the greatest purpose for doing this meditation, as well as for our lives from here all the way to enlightenment, is to accomplish that goal, to become a Buddha, to actualize our full potential, and not just for ourselves, but primarily for the benefit of others, because we see that they too have this potential that needs to be actualized, that will create all the causes for their well-being and the well-being of others. So set that motivation of bodhicitta for engaging in this meditation. So you see this death awareness meditation as part of enhancing your ability to use this life to progress towards that goal of complete enlightenment. So this 9-point death awareness meditation is divided into 3 parts, as many of you know. So today we're going to do the first part, which has to do with the certainty of death, its inevitability. And while we might think that we know that very well, most of us certainly accept the reality that death is coming at some point. Do we live with that awareness? So the very first of the 3 points we're going to analyze with regard to this topic has to do with the fact that everyone dies. Everyone has to die. So over the next few minutes, begin by going back in time and looking at all the great historical figures, whether they were spiritual leaders or politicians, writers, painters, musicians, composers, business people, whoever they were. Think about all the people of the past and how every single one of them died. We cannot find an exception. Then go on to think about the people that you've known throughout your life who have died, maybe grandparents, other friends, relatives. And then think about the reality that the people in your life right now that you know will also have to die. And then finally tighten that circle to come home to the reality of your own death, that you yourself too will have to die. So work with these ideas over the next few minutes, trying to, again, bring that reality of the inevitability of your own death home. So then the second point that we want to meditate on, having already looked at the reality that every single being, every person has to die, is to recognize that our lifespan is continually decreasing and never increasing. We don't know when death will come. That's the subject of next week's meditation. But whenever death is, that point in time is only getting closer. You can work with this idea in a few ways. One is to simply acknowledge with each breath that you take, that's one less breath in this life, one breath closer to death. Or you can think about your heart beating, every heartbeat also another heartbeat closer to the end of the line. Or if you want to work with visualizations, you can think about an hourglass filled with sand when we begin our life, the upper chamber completely full, but every single second grains of sand coming through that hole into the bottom chamber. Every single moment there are grains of sand diminishing from the top, going to the bottom, bringing us closer to that upper chamber being empty, that final grain of sand that is the end of this life. We can't stop any of these things from happening. We will progress closer and closer to death until that is our reality. So again, work with this in whatever way you prefer over the next few minutes. So then, since we are getting closer and closer to death with each moment, the question should arise, well, what are you doing to prepare for it? What are you doing to assure that when death does come, that you will have used this life meaningfully? The best purpose of this life is to engage in spiritual practice, which in Buddhist terms means to reduce our negative tendencies, to increase those qualities that are positive. If we look at our lives and do an honest assessment, perhaps this will give us some clue as to how to change things. So take a look at an average day in your life. To what degree are you practicing Dharma throughout that day? While you can certainly work with your mind in whatever you're doing, no doubt a lot of our day is consumed with mundane activities that really don't contribute much to our welfare, spiritually at least. How much time do you spend sleeping first? Then, once you wake up, how much time during the day do you spend involved with food, preparing food, buying food, eating food? What portion of your day is involved in work? What portion of your day is involved in entertainment or talking with friends and doing other things that are not necessarily Dharma practice either? And spend the next few minutes doing your own assessment of what an average day looks like. And to what degree are you practicing the Dharma then? Again, it doesn't mean to what degree are you doing various spiritual practices. To what degree are you working with your mind? To what degree are you using every moment of this day, of every day, to actually develop positive qualities, to diminish the negative tendencies? So again, spend the next few minutes doing your own analysis to assess to what degree are you practicing spiritually. So having examined these 3 points, that it is inevitable that each of us will die, that death is getting closer moment by moment, there's definitely that looming on the horizon and only getting closer. And then the reality that when we examine our lives, no doubt each of us has found some room for improving the degree to which we engage in spiritual practice. We have to come to a conclusion from these 3 points, which is essentially that we have to practice Dharma. We have to work on our minds to develop the positive qualities, to reduce the negative tendencies, to get to death with the knowledge that we have used this life well, that we have taken full advantage of this human life and done whatever we could to engage in the Buddha's teachings. So spend these last minutes trying to focus on that conclusion and to really feel it in your heart so that it influences not just today and what you do with this day, but every day for the remainder of this life until death. So then let's conclude today with first generating some joy in our hearts, even though this might not be the cheeriest of meditations to do. We're doing it with the intention of making our lives beneficial for both ourselves and others. So we can rejoice that we spent this time looking at this topic and then dedicate all the positive potential we've created so we can accomplish the path to enlightenment quickly and help all sentient beings to do the same. And dedicate also for the good health and long lives of our precious teachers, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Geshe Thupten Sherab, Venerable Rabbeinu Korten, whoever it is that you have as a guru, as well as all spiritual guides that exist. May they have good health and long lives, and may we and others always have perfect guides in our lives. And lastly, dedicate for those beings that you're holding in your heart right now, whoever it is that you know or that you've heard about who are experiencing obstacles, who are dealing with illness, those who have died or perhaps are dying at this time. Send this positive potential out to them so it becomes the cause to help them to be free from suffering and to find true peace and happiness. And may all beings find complete peace and happiness through what we've done here today. All right, everyone, have a very good day, a very good week. I'll see you all again very soon. Be well.